If you decide not to participate, you would only end up saying, nah, this man a vote to Abunyori. Politically unconscious citizens should know that the consequences of not participating in any election is that those who you do not want will rule you. And then if you decide not to participate, you would only end up saying, nah, this man a vote to Abunyori. Please, the lesson they needed to learn is that if many of them that are shouted Obi in 2023 had actually had the voters voting power and voted, stood behind Obi, maybe P2B would have gotten more than 6 million votes. Or maybe even if there was anybody that rigged P2B out, it would have been difficult to have rigged him out. So please, for the politically unconscious, unaware citizen, lesson to learn is that when INEC opens up an next portal, please pick your voters register. You don't need to go to your village. You need to be wherever you are to support a candidate of your choice. And then for those of us who are politically conscious and who has been voting, please, it's time to put on your thinking cap. It's not enough for you to say, I voted. They rigged us out. To educate the next person that it's not enough. When you vote, kindly wait and be sure that the result is announced. Follow up, capture the result. Political parties will always, paste, show where you can paste the result. I believe by now the political parties would have learned their lessons so that people would have the accurate result, tabulated by political parties and the opposition. Now, for the opposition, unfortunately, they've learned no lessons because I believe that 2023 election, many of us predicted it, that an Alhaji Atiku Abubakar and P2B going their separate ways was the only panacea that would have brought APC back. And that's exactly what happened. And we saw an APC that won an election with less than 37% of the votes. And the opposition that gathered as much as 60-something% of the vote, here they could not win. A P2B versus Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, gathered, I think, about 13 million votes, while APC altogether had about 8 million votes. So till today, they have not learned their lessons. And I say this because in 2013, which is about 13 years back, this same political party was APC was in opposition. By this period, they were not, majority of them were not, undecided on who was going to be their presidential candidate. There was only a few people like Atiku that was contemplating between himself and Buhari who was going to be the candidate. But majority of the APC members at 2013-14, we were already in the know that Buhari was going to be their candidate. Now, this election had come. I had expected, the opposition now, I had expected they would have gone in to look at what their strengths were as at 2023. Look at what the trajectories where they had got it wrong. In the first instance, their strength lies, if you go back to the official result we have in 2023. And that official result have placed the second and the third together in a political party, which are Tinubu, Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, who gathered about, I think, 6-point-something million, and then P2B, 6-point-something million. However, Alhaji Atiku Abubakar had an edge. I'd expected them to have reached a consensus on how to organize their members so as to come, be together. Nigerians are grinning under severe difficulties, more than any other leadership, and they've gotten more money than any other leadership, you can think of in Nigeria. They've told us they've gotten, in fact, excess crude. Now, not excess crude, what's it called? Subsidy. Subsidy have been getting into the accounts. Nigerians expected things to be better, but things are not better. Things are more difficult, and the government and people of APC, in fact, it's being categorized today that what they do is share rice. If you say you don't have root, they will share, they will give you rice. And that's what has been circulating all over social media. So I think the government in power should have an introspection into their behavior, and think deep how they would, bring back Nigerians, to support them. But as it is today, they have actually are behaving as if they are conquering. And I can tell you, that may backfire in the last minute.